Well, hello and welcome to another live training. This is the second part to a 9-part series, which I'm actually going to share with you how to get slim, strong, and sexy and give you some live trainings along the way. So today, the topic is 12 ways to fix your digestive system instantly. And it actually really does work. And I've done this kind of strategy for like thousands of other women, and their digestive system, I have to share, that kind of fixes itself once they learn this material within the first day. So it doesn't actually take long. You just got to know what you're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start today's training right now by sharing my screen. Okay, one moment. Let's go here. Okay. One sec. Okay. Great. Okay, awesome. Okay, this is working great. Okay, so the program that I have designed already is called the Slim, Strong, and Sexy Forever program. So again, today what you're going to learn is about digestion and how that's really plays a really strong role in fixing your weight loss struggles so that you can live confidently in your new slim, strong, and sexy body. Okay. And so just a bit of a recap from last week. I really wanted you to anchor in kind of an image of how you want to see yourself and who you want to be now, really. But really you want to get this image of how you want to look and feel. So for my clients, I always like to use the image of Wonder Woman, because to me, personally, Wonder Woman, she actually displays this incredible energy, this limitless love, this, she's just out there to help, but also is a shining example of a fit and healthy woman. And a little bit about me. I am a clinical nutritionist, and I've been doing this for 21 years. And so what you're going to learn today really does work. It is part of the Slim, Strong, and Sexy program. So today, it's a 9-step plan. Today, you're going to learn more about self-test assessment. Why is that important? Because if you're not where you want to be, there is a glitch somewhere, and we need to find out what that is. And so last week, I talked about one of the glitches that's actually in your way of getting into your best body shape is if you're 20 or more pounds overweight. We talked about being leptin resistant. And you want to make sure you look at the last week's training, because what I started with was to actually self-test yourself. Are you leptin resistant? And what that means, leptin is a hormone that the body is supposed to be balanced. And if you're 20 or more pounds overweight, or if you can't tell whether you're hungry or full, or if you can't lose weight altogether, then likely you are leptin resistant. And you may not have heard this term before. So I highly recommend you check out last week's training to see if you are leptin resistant. And actually, I've given you steps to fix it so that you can melt the weight instantly. Okay, so make sure you check that out. So today, we are going to basically, again, we're flipping the switch to easy and fast weight loss, because that's what this whole program is all about, is actually flipping the switch. And so I want you to imagine for a moment if you can just flip the switch to having optimal digestion, because it's really easy to do when you know what you're doing. And just as a recap again, why are you not to where you want to go? There's 3 reasons typically why I see so many individuals, women, struggling with their weight or good digestion. The first one is they keep grabbing the pill. The pill to help me, have better bowel movements. The pill so that I can have better bowel movements. That's really what's going on. And I can see that you're struggling, and I can see that that's like a quick fix, but really there's something deeper than that. And you're going to find out what that is today. But once you find out the driver, everything works after that. Okay. And so then you can actually feel like a success, because you've actually really fixed the root cause instead of grabbing that next shiny pill. The second reason why I see women fail with their weight loss and their digestive issues is they get going on a program, but they stop because either life gets in the way, or they get bored, or they maybe mess up, and they take a while messing up, and then they feel guilty again, and then they go back on track, and it's just this big yo-yo thing. But really, that is a problem, because for one thing, maybe the program that you're on isn't working. So that's why you're stopping. The second thing is maybe you need a coach to help like get you unstuck with the times that you're stuck so that you keep moving forward. Just a thought. That way you stop feeling guilty and you keep moving forward on the path to health and a beautiful body. And the third reason why I see women or men even struggle to lose weight and fix their digestion is they think they need to rely on this like self-motivation and which is fast and fleeting, because really if you're always waiting to be motivated, you will always fail at everything, because that is a fast and fleeting emotion. It comes and goes. We need to actually develop discipline and have a coach maybe to help you develop the skill of discipline, because really it's about being consistent. Being consistent is what will win the race, and you'll have more fun doing it. So I want you again to imagine like your new you. I want you to imagine getting away from, oh my gosh, all this struggle, all this confusion, all this overwhelm, all this no change, to actually getting changed like the flip of a switch. And that's really what this program is all about, because you're doing the right things at the right time. Now, last week, we talked about pinpointing why you were struggling still with your weight. And we talked about leptin resistant. Today, it's going to be awesome. We are going to dive into these 6 metabolic imbalances that are completely tied to why you're not getting into the best health and shape of your life and how to fix it. Now, today, there's 6 of them. Today, I'm speaking on the subject of the digestion. Why? Because it is the #1 issue that I see most women have when they come to me and they can't lose weight. And it's the #1 thing you really need to pay attention to fix so that you can lose the weight, okay? So this isn't just about, having that flat stomach and getting rid of gas and bloating. This is actually way deeper than that, because if you think about it, if you're not digesting your foods, how are you expected to be healthy? You can't. Remember, digestion is about assimilating outside sources of nutrition like foods into your body for the body to do something with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this share and enter into digestion and my slide on that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start with identifying if you really do have poor digestion and how far gone is it? And then we're going to talk about why you're there and how to fix it. Okay. So I'm going to stop that share 1 moment. And I'm going to go back to, okay, here we are. Okay. Okay. All right, so likely on the screen, you are going to see the poor digestion questionnaire. So let's identify how severe or moderate or even mild your digestive system really is. And so what I'm going to do is, if you get a pen and paper right now, and you're going to start to make notes, and you're going to rate yourself on each statement that I ask to see if you are a 1, 2, or 3. And then at the end, you're going to add up your score to see how severe this issue is. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your pen and paper. I'll give you a minute. And every question that I asked you, you're going to mark a 1 for sometimes or mild, a 2 for often or moderate, a 3 for very often or severe. So these will be signs and symptoms that are very much associated with poor digestion, okay? So we're going to start with statement #1. Do you have indigestion, or like this sour, you feel sour 2 or 3 hours after a meal? So you've eaten a meal, about 2 hours later, you actually have this indigestion, which means you have this like pain in the stomach, or you have this sourness in your mouth, or your stomach actually feels sour. All right. So that would be something that you'd want to mark a 1 if it's mild, 1 if it's sometimes, a 2 if it's often or moderate, and a 3 if it's like severe, like all the time. Now we're going to move to the next statement, abdominal bloating. So rate yourself. Do you have abdominal bloating or distension? Okay. 1 for mild, 2 for moderate, 3 for severe. All right. So write that down. And if it doesn't apply to you, just leave it blank. You don't have that. That's cool. The next statement is if you feel that you have this full or heavy feeling after a heavy meat meal. And so it's like sitting in your stomach, like a log in your stomach. This is how I've been described from my teachers, is if there's like this, it's not digesting. It's like it's heavy. It's like this thing in your stomach that's not breaking down. So if you have if it's mild, write a 1. If it's moderate, write a 2. And if it's severe, write a 3. Okay, so the next one is if you have a loss of former taste or craving for meat. So you used to love meat and it was delicious. You had it like you really enjoyed your meat, like burgers or chili or pork ribs or maybe chicken or turkey or things like that. But you actually have lost your cravings for it and taste. And you'd want a 1 for mild, a 2 for moderate, a 3 for severe. So you want to write that down. Or, if you still love meat, then you write a 0. You don't have anything there. Okay, the next one is if you have excessive gas or belching or burping after meals. So after you eat, you have gas or belching, like it comes up, right? So again, write a 1 for mild, a 2 for moderate, or a 3 for severe. The next one is if you have a burning sensation in your stomach. Your stomach is like feeling like it's on fire. Or if you have heartburn, so it comes up through your esophagus and into your mouth. And it's sour in your mouth. So that would be a 1 for mild, a 2 for moderate, or a 3 for severe, or no, you don't have that at all. Cool. The next one is a heavy, or if you're tired after eating. If you feel like lethargic after eating, you feel heavy after eating, you should actually feel a lot of energy after eating. But if you're tired or you feel heavy, then that is, it's a digestive issue. So again, a 1 for mild, a 2 for moderate, or a 3 for severe. Okay. Constipation. So let's talk a little bit about that. What is constipation? It means that you're not evacuating through your bowels every day. So really, you're going to want to have 1 to 3 bowel movements a day. And if you're not, and you're missing a day or 2 days or 3, you are constipated. That is a real problem. I'm going to dive into that more today because I see that more and more with the type of diets that I see my clients on, and they're not really supporting the evacuation of this change in diet, and the body is, it's congested. And so we really got to take care of this. 1 is mild, 2 is moderate, 3 is severe. So write that down. Stools poorly formed. So if you should really actually be looking at your stools. I know I look at my stools. It sounds, maybe not so like sexy, but really it will make you feel sexy if your stools are great. So if you look at your stools and they're kind of like a peanut butter consistency and they're easy to evacuate, that's a good healthy stool. If they are like frothy, if they're light in color, if they're greasy, and if they float, that would be an issue. That would likely even be an infection. So we're going to rate ourselves a 1 for mild, a 2 for moderate, or a 3 for severe. Or if your stools are fine, then you just write 0, nothing. Okay, the next one is if you see particles, actually like undigested food particles in your stools. So pieces of corn, pieces of beet, pieces of nuts or seeds, even sweet potato, I don't know, whatever if it's not fully been broken down, then that is an issue that you need to pay attention to. And so what we're going to do is rate ourselves 1 for mild, 2 for moderate, 3 for severe, or maybe they're fine. And then the ridges on the fingernails. So if you see these really strong ridges, we all have a little bit of them, no problem at all. But if they're really strong and they're really pretty pronounced, you can actually put your finger on your nail and just glide it through and see, do I have ridges? I used to have ridges. I don't have ridges anymore because I did fix my digestion. And it showed up on my nails, so they're healthy again. So, if you have them, then and if your nails are slow growing, so, you can't get those really strong nails that are actually used to, open things. And if you have fake nails, well, you can't really tell. But if you have real nails, then you can actually really look at them, which do give a picture of what's going on inside the body, which is always really good. So you're going to write a 1 for mild, a 2 for moderate, or a 3 for severe. So now that we've actually finished the questionnaire, which you're looking at right now, then we're going to add up your numbers. All the numbers you wrote, so add them up. I'm going to give you some time. Now, if you are a 4 or higher from the score, then you have poor digestion. And obviously the higher the number, the more poor the digestion you have. And so that is something that really we need to fix quickly for anything to work. Because if you think about it, you've got to be able to use the foods as what it's designed for: energy, function, and nutrition, so that you can enjoy your days and look and feel your best, right? So here we are. What does low digestion mean? Well, it actually does mean likely low stomach acid. That is the first thing we need to think about. So poor digestion is a low stomach acid issue. Likely not high stomach acid. And if it is, it started with low stomach acid. So if there's someone here that has been diagnosed with high stomach acid, please reach out to me, because I'd love to have a conversation, because really it actually started with low stomach acid. Okay, so I'm going to be speaking to the ones that aren't diagnosed with high stomach acid, that actually just have poor digestion. Okay, so let's go with that. So we're going to talk about stomach acid. Well, what is stomach acid? Like, why do we have it? Well, actually, it's the starter kit to help you even break down your foods. And what happens is you have these cells, they're called the I have a hard time pronouncing it, parietal. My tongue just doesn't allow it. But these are a special type of cells. They start with a P, and they actually release this acid soak, so that when you do eat your foods, it starts to break it down. And then it allows for the other parts of the digestive system to work after that. It has so many far-reaching effects, which is hydrochloric acid is also extremely important to keep you well, because it actually knocks off the unwanted bacteria, the unwanted viruses, the unwanted fungus, the overgrowth. It knocks it out so that you can stay healthy and keep your immune system optimal. That is so, so important. The other thing that the stomach acid do that gets released from your stomach is it allows you to actually mineralize your body. So you hear so much about this mineral. I'm going to buy this Kagan water. I'm going to buy this water that's going to allow myself to, have more minerals. Well, actually, why don't we get minerals from our food? Well, you can if you have the right amount of stomach acid. If not, you are demineralizing. Okay, that's what leads to things like osteoporosis and pain in the body. So what we're going to do is we're going to assist the body in its own production of its stomach acid, so that when you do eat your food, mostly the minerals come from your vegetables, some from your protein, but from your vegetables. And what it does is it ionizes it. So it puts it in a form that the body recognizes and uses it for function. What is it? Keeps your acid alkaline in balance. So that you actually get rid of pain, you actually can build your bones, you can have better skin, all those things that are associated with better minerals absorption. Okay. So this is really important for those that actually have muscle cramps and also autoimmune disease. You really need to pay attention to this next bit of information, because your stomach acid is likely low, and it's what is the driver of why you are where you are, and how you need to really pay attention to fix it, so that you can actually reverse your autoimmune, which you can, and you can stop these muscle cramps, which are actually really easy to do. So let's see. The other part about this puzzle is, as I kind of alluded to earlier, is when you have low stomach acid, then it doesn't allow the rest of the organs to do their job. Why? Because it's the primer to let the pancreas know that, hey, there's something coming. Pancreas, start releasing your enzymes to break down the rest of the food. Or, hey, gallbladder, get ready, because we're going to be putting stuff in your gallbladder so that you can break down the fats. So if you don't even have stomach acid, you can't have good digestion. It's not even possible. The other organs get lazy too, because they're not being activated. So this is, again, really important. It's like a symphony. We have to get it right, okay? And if you are somebody who is suffering with like heartburn, where you feel like you need to have these over-the-counter antacids, or if you've been put on medication to lower your acid, I would really take a look at that, because how did you get there in the first place? Well, you got there because it actually started with low stomach acid, which means that the stomach wasn't producing enough stomach acid. And then what happened was, over time, that never got addressed by doing the right things. And now what's happened is your body has now overproduced stomach acid. So it went from low to high, okay? And so you think it's high, but actually started low. And so instead of grabbing the next shiny object or the next pill to lower the stomach acid, why don't we like fix it for good? All right. So that's something to think about. Otherwise, again, what happens if you're not producing enough stomach acid and you're lowering it artificially? Well, you're going to grow these nasty organisms that is going to really cause a disruption in your immune system. And so you might likely then be more apt to fall prey of these infections that are commonly like that we see a lot of now. And also you may be the one that is in pain a lot. Because again, you're not mineralizing your, you're not allowing your body to get the minerals from your foods. All right. So this is hopefully an aha moment for you. And if there's someone here watching this, I'm happy to help you fix that, because it's really easy to do. But in the meantime, just follow the training, because you're going to get some really key points, 12 of them, 12 ways to fix your digestion. So keep listening. Now, you might be wondering, like, how is this all linked to the amount of weight that I have? Well, it's completely tied. When you have low stomach acid, you have a really difficult time to lose weight and keep it off for life, okay? And the reason for that, there's actually many ways. The first one is you're likely constipated. This is where constipation comes in. So if you're not actually removing the waste products, you're actually holding on to it. That's what's going to accumulate the extra weight. So we're going to want to make sure that you have good stomach acid to be able to eliminate the toxins so that you can have good bowel movements, okay? The other thing is the interesting part is if you actually have low stomach acid, then it creates this, what we talked about, imbalance in these organisms, that you're growing the bad ones, you're not allowing the good ones to grow, and that actually alters estrogen in the body. Yeah, this hormone estrogen. What happens is if you have this altered bacteria because you don't have enough stomach acid, it causes estrogen to rise into like more than healthy levels. Because it increases this level of beta-glucuronidase. And beta-glucuronidase is an unwanted enzyme that is actually supposed to give your liver instructions to remove the estrogen from the body, but it's been broken, so it's not telling the liver to remove the estrogen, so you're actually hanging on to it, okay? And you're depositing it in the wrong places in the body, and that's what leads to excess body fat. So yes, having low stomach acid does link to this gut bacteria disruption, which then links to hormone imbalances, and we talked about estrogen dominance. Now, the other part of this equation is, if you're someone who like eats a little bit of food but can't seem to lose weight, and you actually look at a piece of cake and you're just going to wear it just by looking at it. Well, that's because, again, the stomach acid is low, you have altered bacteria, and what happens is the more of these bad bacteria or more of these pathogenic organisms that you grew because of the low stomach acid, the more that when you eat your food, these organisms extract more calories from your food than normal. That means that you can, say if you're on a 1,600 calorie eating plan, your body actually extracts 1,800 or 1,900 calories from that same amount of calories because of the wrong bacteria. So actually, this is another piece of the weight loss puzzle, is we've got to get your digestion right so that you can just quickly flip the switch to fast and easy weight loss, all right? The other problem with this low stomach acid is your body actually moves into this low-grade inflammation. Because again, the body's under stress, you have this inflammation, we've got this altered gut bacteria, you're not getting minerals from your foods, all these things that like this perfect storm. And the storm is the inflammation in the body. And when that happens, your body actually thinks it's fighting an infection. And so all the energy goes to try and fight this infection when really it's not getting you slim, strong, and sexy. So there is a low grade inflammation piece as well. Now you may be wondering, What caused me to have this low stomach acid? Like, how did I even get here? Well, actually, there's 10 reasons why. The first one is age. Sorry, but it's true. But it's good to know. So anyone over 40 really needs to pay attention to that, which is really who I'm reaching out to anyways, because this whole program is all really about those that are 40 or higher in age. Because at the age of 40, a lot of things do change. Okay, but once we know what does change, we can actually course correct so that we can actually even look and feel better than we were when we were 20. And so one of them is, by the time we reach the age of 40, our ability to produce the stomach acid is about half of what it was when it was 18. And this is what David Rowland, PhD, he's actually the founder of the Edison Institute of Nutrition. So he's well-versed in this area. He had to fix himself, and so that's why he started the school. Anyways, so he's basically letting us know that as you age, we lose the ability. So age is a factor, okay? Too much stress is absolutely a factor. So if you're someone who's like the rushing woman syndrome, where you're just rushing from one thing to the next, you have this extreme stress, or if you have perceived stress like fear and anger based on from where the world is today, all of that, the body feels as stress. And what happens is you actually produce more stomach acid when you're under stress, which then leads to underactive stomach acid, which is where we're at right now. That's also a really strong reason. Okay, now we're moving to cold food. So if you eat cold food, that is a stress to the body. The body is meant to eat foods that are actually room temperature. And so if you're somebody who's like chowing on ice cubes or just needing your food cold all the time, especially in the cold months, you don't want to do that. You want to have lukewarm or warm meals. Over time, that's going to underfunction your stomach acid, okay? The other one is if you have an actual thyroid issue. So if you've been diagnosed with underactive thyroid, everything in the body slows down. And one of them we know is the digestive system. So if that's happening, how are you supposed to get better? You've really got to make sure that your digestive system starts to become more optimal so that you can fix your thyroid, so that you can fix your metabolism, okay? The other reason why we see so much low stomach acid is because our diet is just wrong. And we're eating too many of the wrong foods. And what are the wrong foods that lead to low stomach acid? Too many carbs and not enough protein. So if you've been watching me for months and months and months, I've been really trying to impress upon you that we actually need to increase our protein and decrease our carbs. And it's not your fault. It's just the way society is right now. We are in this like quick fix, just give me food now kind of thing, make it cheap. Well, your body's it's gonna affect your body negatively. Carbs are everywhere, protein's harder to get. And so we need to get back to simple. We need to get back to real food. We need to get back to what our ancestors ate. What did they eat? Well, they ate within the season. And so quite often they made protein a priority, all right? And the carbs, they weren't the kind of carbs we're having now, which is from a package. They were from their garden. So really, this is where we need to go, okay? This is what the whole program is about, is I'm putting you back into the Garden of Eden. I'm putting you back into what our ancestors ate, because that's what we're still designed. We are human beings. Now, think about this. Let's get away from these packaged food. If you've been eating them a lot, that's what's leading to the low stomach acid. All is not lost. If knowing this, we can course correct it just like that, and you'll see a great improvement in your stomach acid. And the reason for that is because we need the protein to stimulate the stomach acid. So if you haven't been eating protein, you're not even asking the body to stimulate it. And so it actually gets lazy and it stops stimulating it. Okay, that's kind of the reason. Nutritional deficiency. So if you've had your micronutrient tests, which I have done for my clients in the past, and they've identified that you are low in zinc, you are low in B1, which is thiamine, and you are low in vitamin C. These are the 3 nutrients your body needs actually to produce the stomach acid. So the building blocks aren't even there. And those are the 3 building blocks to produce stomach acid. So something you may want to get tested or even think about. Overeating at meals. So if you're someone who has a history of overeating at your meals, again, because you maybe waited too long to eat and then you overate, or you just have emotional eating so that you want to feed you want to feel better, so you eat more food, or you can't even tell when you're full. These are all overeating at meals. Our body is not designed to put all this strain on the digestive system. You already know that that's not good, all right? But over time, it does lead to a low stomach acid issue, okay? Now we're getting into inappropriate food combinations. So we really need to pay attention to what you're putting on your plate and what you're combining. So I see disasters, and it's not your fault. You haven't been taught. It's okay. Today you're going to learn what it is. But really, these inappropriate food combinations is a disaster. The body has to try and break down all these different types of foods. It really has a struggle, and then it lowers your stomach acid. The other one is if you drink too much. So, a little bit of wine is okay, but if you have too much, that is actually a big strain on the stomach acid and your digestive system, and it actually leads to leaky gut. If you have leaky gut, take a look at your alcohol consumption. So it will stress the stomach, and then it will lead to low stomach acid. The last one, which is number 10, is a lack of sleep. So if we don't get enough sleep, and how much sleep do we need in the winter? 9.5 hours straight. How much do we need in the summer? 8 hours straight. And then you've got your fall and winter in between. So really, if you're not sleeping well, that is something that is going to lead to a low stomach acid. So as you fix your digestion, we need to fix our sleep. So we talked about the 10 reasons why you likely have low stomach acid. Now we're going to course correct into these simple solutions. And I'm going to give you 12 today that will really flip the switch to getting your digestion working. And if you want to learn more about my program and how to really get into that beautiful body that you want, the best health, then obviously my program would be something you might want to consider. And it is a system that works every single time. And so it's a 9-step system, so we can have a conversation and you can have a look at it and see if it's a fit for you. So let's get back into this healthy digestion. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start by removing things that are like pissing your digestive system off. They're called gut irritants. Yeah, I wrote it right. Okay, so what are the gut irritants? Okay, so the common ones that will lead to digestive issues is the ones that we are new to our food source. So just to give you a bit of a 50-foot view, is we have been on this planet for 2.4 million years. All right, and so we've been eating from the land for most of our life. And then what happened was just recently we created colonies, and there was this agricultural age where we started to grow our own food, settle in, and create these communities, right? And so these would be, we started to cultivate grains, we herded dairy, and we started to grow legumes, and have, dairy products, right? So these are foods that are new to our genome, and some haven't really been able to adjust to these new foods. They're only 8,000 or 10,000 years previous. So we've been in existence for 2.4 million years. These are new foods to our genome, and some people haven't caught up to it yet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to remove those foods, the new foods, and go back to our ancient ways of eating so that we can take a load off our body, so that once our digestive system is becoming more optimal, then we can start to introduce these foods back in. Okay, because these new foods are harder to digest. What are they? They're whole grains. Okay, they're legumes, they're dairy, they are fruit juice, nuts and seeds, and soy products, corn, and creamed vegetables. Okay, so that's one thing you're going to want to think about. The other thing is we really want to think about alcohol. You know how much I love wine, but I keep it at its limit. So I know that what I'm having is limited. So, but I appreciate it. So it's like liquid nutrition for me. But I only limit it to like just 1 or 2 glasses at the most. And if you need to fix your digestion, then really you should avoid the alcohol. Give yourself 30, 60, 90 days, maybe even 6 months, or just leave it to the weekends. And just give yourself a rest from the alcohol, the wine, whatever you're having, and maybe just limit it to 1 or 2 servings on the weekends only. If you are following an intense exercise program, So that would be like HIIT or anything intense. If you're training for something, that will lead to a low stomach acid. And so maybe you want to take a look at that. And if you're able to, like, back off until your digestive system is healthy, and then you can start to add that back in. Speaking of adding back in, so here we've talked about, there's 12 things. The first thing we talked about are gut irritants. The second thing we talked about is alcohol. The third thing was high intensity exercise. Now we're going to talk about, and those are things to avoid. Now we're going to talk about what to add. What are we going to add? We're going to nourish your digestive system. We're going to add things in your diet and lifestyle that's actually going to support good digestion. Okay, so what are they going to be? They're going to be, instead of like raw vegetables, we'll do more cooked vegetables. Instead of char-boiled meat, we're going to do like more slow-cooked meat. Okay, so those kind of things. And I've got a list that I give to all my clients, and it's a list of easy to digest foods versus hard to digest foods. So if anyone is looking for something like that, let me know. But anyways, all my clients get all that. So it's like a no-brainer. Here's your cheat sheet. And so food combinations, there are a few. Today I'm just going to talk about one common one that I see. And it is, there are a few others, but today the most important one is if you add animal protein to fruit. Never combine those two together. That is a disaster for the body trying to break it down. Because remember, well, if you think about it, animal protein or meat takes like 3 hours to digest. Fruit takes half an hour. So if you combine the two, it's fermenting. And that's why you're having these issues with your digestion. So you want to have meat with the vegetables or the fruit in a smoothie, that kind of thing. But if you need more help, let me know. Apple cider vinegar is a really good thing to consume before you eat in a little bit of water. So that's number 6. Number 7 is you want to make sure that you are properly chewing your food. So that's number 7. So I see this so often with the men. We forget that we need to chew our food. We forget that our stomach doesn't have teeth, but our teeth are the ones that are supposed to chew it. So when you chew your food, you either count to 20 or you make sure it's like liquid before you swallow. That is a skill, a habit that you're going to want to instill now and forever. So we talked about room temperature foods and beverages. That's number 8. Number 9, we talked about one protein source. We didn't. Number 9 is about protein sources. So you don't want to combine all these different animal protein sources all in one meal. You actually want to just pick one. If you have a digestive issue, just pick one. So instead of like chicken and prawns, just put chicken or prawns, that kind of thing. So that's something to think about. And then number 10 is get enough sleep. We talked about how much sleep you need. 8 hours in the summer, 9.5 in the winter. If you're having a challenge, that's something you're going to want to fix, and reach out to me. I could really, really help you there, because I have an optimal sleep formula that works amazing, and it is not a pill. It's not. It's just arranging your day in a way that is going to allow you for that amazing beauty sleep where you wake up with tons of energy. You actually look and feel 10 years younger. And that's an easy way to burn the body fat, is when you're sleeping. But you got to do it right. So let me know about that, and I could help you there. So number 11 is if you're under stress. Whoa, this is common. So many people are under stress. So if you are under stress and you need to eat, just choose easy to digest foods, not like charbroiled burger. That is really hard to digest. Think about easy to digest foods. And there's a number of them out there. You can Google that or get a hold of me, but really you want to choose the easy to digest foods, not the really difficult ones when you're under stress. Why? Because you're not going to be digesting your foods. Your energy is going to your brain. It's not going to your digestive tract. So you're going to really have a problem digesting if you're under stress. So let's move forward here into the next one, number 12. This is the last one, and then I have a bonus for you. So this last one is Detoxify. Oh my gosh. This was game changing when I got into practice. Why? Because it's not just about diet to get your body into like the best body shape and the best health of your life. No, actually, we're walking around in a toxic environment. Babies are born toxic. We know that the Environmental Working Group did a study, and what they found was the babies that are born in, it was like 2012, had, 385 different chemicals in their umbilical cord. before they were even like, when they were born, they tested the umbilical cord and they found tons of chemicals, and it was primarily mercury and plastic derivatives. So we are living in a very like our environment needs a cleanup and we're suffering for it. So, but when you know that, it's really important for you to remove this burden from your body, do a proper detox. And I have these 90-day detoxification plans, which actually do really get it out. And it's a way that when you start them on it, they actually feel better the first day. So one thing I do want to recommend, if you are on a detox program and you feel like crap, you're on the wrong one, because really you need to feel good on your detoxification program. Why? Because you're actually removing the inflammatory compounds. You're actually getting out of the body so that the body can start to reset itself. So that's super, super important. I have a number of clients on them and they're just raving about how great they feel. It actually does help fix health conditions as well, because it's a missing piece. So let me know if you want some information on that, and I'm happy to help. The bonus for today, because I've given you the 12, the bonus for today is we can supplement. And you know what? Supplementing a good diet. So they're not supplementing a bad diet, they're supplementing a good diet. So you want to make sure that your diet is perfect for you. On top of that, what you can do is supplement with these digestive enzymes that have the hydrochloric acid in it. Because remember, your body's not producing enough. Why don't you give it what it's not while you're working on your diet and everything else? And then you can either slowly wean yourself off or just stay on them. It's not a problem at all. It's not stopping your body's ability to make them. Your body isn't making them. So why don't you give your body a break and take them externally? Remember, those that are over 40, you've already lost half the ability to produce the hydrochloric acid. Why don't you just put it back in? This is what I do every day. So every day I take these digestive enzymes before I eat. They're right in my kitchen. So I see it before I eat. I pop one in. And you know what? I can digest my food really well. And that's why one of the reasons why my nails are better, one of the reasons why I have a flat stomach, one of the reasons why I have so much energy, because I'm actually getting the nutrition from my foods because I have good stomach acid. Everything else works so well. The other one is a good probiotic. Okay, so here I have some recommended digestive enzymes. A lot don't work. I know the ones that I use do work. And there's also a probiotic also. That's really, really important. So what is the probiotic? Well, we talked about these bacteria strains earlier. Gut bacteria, you want to make sure you have the good guys and less of the bad. Well, this puts the good guys back in so that it's it helps your body get to where you want to go quicker, faster. And so it's going to help you with weight loss. It's going to help you with fixing digestion. It's also going to help you with better mood, immune system, everything, because so much relies on digestion. And so I have the ones that are actually human strain, not animal strain. You don't want the animal strain. They don't work. You want the human strain. You want the ones that are clinically proven to work in that have been researched, shown in peer-reviewed papers. That's what this one is. It's by Genestra. It is the one that has been proven clinically to actually have an effect, which is what you want. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your money. You want to do it right. That's what this one is. So if anyone here is interested in learning about just a couple of supplements they can do to support their digestion, then please let me know. So as a recap, I'm going to go back to the beginning here. Actually, I'm going to see if I can stop that and get back to, I don't know if you can hear me or not. You can't see me for some reason. I don't know why. You were able to see me. You can't see me now.